Good evening. We'll call the September 2013 regular board meeting of the Lenoir County Public Schools to order. First item of business is the invocation, and we'll call on Diane Lynch, who will provide the invocation for tonight's meeting.
Let us pray. May the words spoken in this room tonight be beneficial to the students, parents, staff, and administrators in our school system, and may we be led by the guiding principle to always base our decisions on the best interest of our young people. Amen.
Amen. Everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the next item on the agenda is to approve tonight's agenda. Are there any proposed changes to the agenda?
No, Mr. Chairman, it's fine.
If not, we'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Stroud. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Smith. Any other discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. All those opposed? Okay, the agenda is approved. Next item is the approve. All right, thank you. Next item is the approval of the minutes from the August 5, 2013 meeting. Is there a motion that we approve the minutes as drafted?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Stroud. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Sargent. Any other questions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. All those opposed? The August 5 minutes are approved. Okay. Board chair comments. I would just like to welcome our teachers, students, administrators back for the new school year. I know it's an exciting time. Things seem to have opened up and run pretty well for first week of school. I know that's always a hectic time for our teachers and for our administration, but things seem to have gone as smoothly as I can remember them going. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you.
And welcome everyone back. Next item on the agenda is the superintendent's reports.
Okay. Before school began, Lenoir County Public Schools distributed approximately 800 book bags that were filled with school supplies, usually about during the first couple of weeks right before school started. We'd like to recognize the following community businesses, organizations, and shoppers that donated school supplies. Lenoir Green United Way built a backpack and stuffed bus programs. Lenoir County Education Foundation, Self-Help, I can't talk tonight, credit union employees and members, Kinston Walmart employees and shoppers, Spirit Aero Systems employees, Kinston chapter of AARP, Nobles Chapel Church in Deep Run, Kinston Walgreens employees and shoppers, 902 Church and Mr. and Mrs. J. Dawson in memory of Ann Whitlow, former Southwood elementary teacher. And a very special thank you goes to the members and staff of Kinston's Self-Help Credit Union because they donated 500 of those 800 book bags that were filled with supplies. So thank you for everyone that made this possible. They were very popular. Folks certainly turned out to pick these up, and it helped many families that certainly are in need. One further comment about the opening of school. It was a very smooth opening. We are, as of today, or actually as of Friday, we're up in enrollment, about 60 students. We'll have to wait and see if that settles down, but the principals, quite a few of the principals are telling me they believe they have more students, and so we may be growing for the first time in quite a few years. We'll wait to see if it settles down, and we are doing so. See the Kinston High principal nodding her head. She's got quite a few freshmen over there, I think.
We're up 40 of that 60. We're looking for more positions.
Yeah. That's the next thing principals tell you once they say, we have more students, I need more teachers. So keep enrolling, we'll get you the teachers, I promise you. Okay. But it was a very nice opening, and I do want to say thank you to all the teachers and principals and cafeteria workers and teacher assistants and all the people that it took to make that happen. We do need to reschedule the April 7th board meeting. That's at the end of the national conference. You have 3 dates on my update, Tuesday, April 1st, Thursday, April 3rd, and Thursday, April 10th. If you will, just let Becky know what works for you. And you probably need to put those in priority, or at least tell us if something absolutely does not work, so we can try to reschedule that meeting. Would like to recognize a couple people in the audience tonight. Noah Clark is our new education reporter for the Free Press. So Noah, we're glad to have you. Welcome. And we also have our new EC director, Ms. Vivian Roach, is here with us. Wilson County is holding on to her as tightly as they can, but we're still trying to get a release date sooner than maybe her 60-day obligation is, but they're not letting her go easily. But we do want her here. She is already helping us, and I want to thank her for that, and certainly welcome her to our Lenoir County Public Schools family. So, all right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Dr. Zingo. Public comment, anybody sign up? Ms. Berger speak. All right, we'll move on to the presentation information agenda. First item is criteria for North Carolina High School Athletic Association transfer policy.
Good evening. At the last school board meeting, I presented for your information the new student-athlete transfer policy from the North Carolina High School Athletic Association. This policy became effective August 1st, 2013. I presented the athletics eligibility implications of the policy for student-athletes who transfer from one member school to another in the absence of a bona fide change of address, and shared with you what the definition of that is, or for students who simply state that they're transferring for the purpose of playing athletics in the school to which they are applying. In your review of the association's new policy, a request was made to provide more information to you on the specific points that are used by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association in their waiver process for considering waiver applications made by students and parents to be exempted from the 365-day sit-out rule for students who've not actually changed address. You know, our procedures will be in line with that. So we included those for your information in your packet, and the points examples include special curricular needs, documented medical needs, student, parent, legal custodian is permanently assigned as an employee of another school system, family, student, child care needs, documented safety issues, federal or state mandates, and other serious and continuing hardships. So just pretty much an all-encompassing other category of consideration. So you see it has a full range of different considerations that are possible. So it's not just you have to sit out 365 days. It does provide an umbrella of consideration in various areas for students. And we know from dealing with students that they have myriad special needs and special circumstances, and this provides for us to consider those when we're making these considerations of the applications for waivers. At this time, I'll take any questions that you have about the waiver process or those criteria points.
Is this pretty much the form we're going to use as well?
Yes, we're trying to keep our procedures in line with this policy.
So if they qualify for waiver in one of these categories,
well, really they have to do two things. They have to meet one of these criteria points in the association's policy. They have to meet one or more of these, establish one of these criteria points, and prove that the request is not being made on the basis of playing athletics in the new school to which they're applying. So those two things have to be met, and this is in line with the type of consideration points that we currently have in our overall transfer policy. So we see it as a natural overlay, a natural fit for us to transition. It's not very different from what we're doing already in considering our regular transfers.
So if they meet these qualifications, I just want, is it an automatic, or is it, or there still can be questions?
No, sir, everything is on a case-by-case basis, but these points provide a guideline, a framework for the district, and in this case, the association to consider from a district-to-district level transfer, and we within the district will consider a school-to-school transfer inside the district lines. But this provides a framework of the types of things to inform parents and students and schools and school leaders and coaches and athletic directors to inform them about the types of things that might constitute a waiver, a legitimate request for a waiver. Because kids do have different types of circumstances and their family situation might change, and it might not be a bona fide change of address as defined by the High School Athletic Association. It might not be a change in custody, in legal custody, but there might be a need for consideration of this child's special circumstances, and this is what that provides for. So basically, because 365-day sit-out rule has been around for a number of years in various districts, but it is a pretty rigid standard to apply without some type of special considerations, and that's what this is designed to do, to say to a student and to his or her parents, look, we'll consider what your situation is and special circumstances of it so that we can render a fair decision for everybody. So that's the goal, fairness and inclusiveness.
Let me ask this, in the event the waiver is denied, then the child could simply withdraw their request for transfer and stay at the school they were at and still participate in sports?
Well, presumably.
Presumably.
And it depends on when the transfer request is made. But if it's, as these requests typically are, for the coming school year, before the school year starts, certainly. Now, if there's a bona fide address change and the student transfers after the first day of school, within the school year, then, immediate eligibility for athletics would convey when the student enrolls in the new school. But if there's, all of this is triggered when there's not a legitimate change of address. Because if one student moves to another district, then there's not a problem.
The decision as to whether to approve a waiver is made by whom?
Well, it will be made by a committee. Currently, Mrs. Lynch leads that process for transfers in our district.
And
then
will there be any
ultimately it can be
appeal
appealed
process from that committee?
The appeal would go to the superintendent.
How about district to district?
Oh, district to district is, if the High School Athletic Association manages that whole process, the districts just provide information. The receiving school and the school from which the students transfer, and the district doesn't even get involved directly other than to get the decision or provide additional information. They handle that whole process, but within the district, it is up to the district who does it. Currently, our general transfer process is through Mrs. Lynch's office, and those are considered, and then it would be appealed to the superintendent.
Okay. But not to the board?
Well,
Or is it?
I believe that after that, it could be appealed to the board.
I defer to the
I don't
attorney
know
on
that
that.
we've ever, I don't know
Can
that we've ever
that
had
be
any-
appealed to the board if it's a transfer request?
I would think it could.
I think so also, but I'm sorry.
They gonna hear it.
That
Would
was
you like
my
a different, would you
question.
like a different answer?
I would. I don't want the board to have to, deal with, and 20 or 30 of these things a night.
Right. I don't know that we've ever had with our general transfer request. Now, eligibility for athletics is applied here, so that's a different ingredient in the mix. But for general transfer requests, I don't know that we've had any
can't
appeal
remember one going to the
beyond the
board.
associate superintendent level. So,
No, we haven't, not in the time I've been on the board that I
Not
can
that I can
recall.
remember either.
Okay.
Any questions about the process? Thank you.
All right, North Carolina Home-Based Project.
As you know, all school systems in North Carolina currently are transitioning to a new way way of storing and managing student information and educational data. 14 years ago, our previous data management system, NCWISE, was implemented in the first school system in the state and then was gradually implemented throughout the years in various school systems. 6 years ago, Lenoir County began our implementation, and we've been with NCWISE since that time. Tonight, we'll give you a brief summary of the Home-Base project and the progress of our school system toward implementing Home-Base and all of the various programs that are components of Home-Base. It's a massive student information warehouse and data management system. It's very impressive. It has many components, and the two people with me tonight have really taken a lead role in implementing this in Lenoir County Public Schools. They've been our lead trainers. They've been working on it for months, since December, planning and working with the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction and the company with whom DPI has contracted to implement this in the state, Pearson. And they've been working daily on this. And as the year progressed, this has gotten more and more intense. And they're here tonight to provide you with some specific information about our implementation so far. They've been doing a great job working to make sure our teachers have been trained, our administrators, and to really get this out in the hands of the teachers. And it has some significant implications for parents as well. We're very excited about Home-Base, about PowerSchool, about the other components of it. And at this time, Mr. Charles White and Mrs. Sheila Heath, two of our technology coordinators, will share with you our progress today.
Good evening. Mr. Williams asked me to come here, like he was just saying, and just give you a brief synopsis and overview of what the Home-Base project is. If I can kind of take you on a journey for a few minutes. If you can remember, a number of years ago, North Carolina applied for and received the Race to the Top grant. It was a huge federal grant for our state as a whole, and a lot of changes have took place because of that. One of the main purposes of the Race to Top grant was to create this comprehensive suite of applications that will hold student data and really dramatically affect curriculum and the way we teach. And as we kind of go toward the end now of Race to the Top, we're starting really to see the first evidences of those applications. And this is the Home-Base project that we're speaking of. Now, when I speak of Home-Base, I really don't want you to think of one product because Home-Base is actually a suite of applications and products that all tie in, connect to each other in some really beautiful ways. If you think of Home-Base as a whole, and then out of Home-Base, Home-Base is divided into two major categories, and that's the SIS, which is the Student Information Systems, and the SIS part of Home-Base is the home of PowerSchool, and that is where all the student data is housed. And of course, within PowerSchool, that is divided into PowerSchool Teacher, where teachers take attendance and do their grade books, PowerSchool Administrator, which is the back end of the piece, PowerSchool Subs, which allows our subs to ultimately be able to log in and take attendance and do things they've never done before. And what I'm really excited about, of course, is our PowerSchool Parents, which is our first implementation of a parent portal, which when it's complete and up and running, it will allow our parents to be able to log in, view their individual student, see live grades from the teacher's grade book as they key them in, see up-to-date current attendance data, be able to see comments and interact with teachers, be able to see their progress toward graduation. Just a really wealth of information for our parents, which is so amazing. The other piece of that, opposite of the SIS, is what's called ICE, or IIS, and that is the Instructional Improvement Systems. Now, if you think of the SIS piece, the PowerSchool piece as being all data, think of ICE as being all curriculum and teaching. ICE is really divided into two main products, and that is SchoolNet and Nesys. SchoolNet is a suite or an application that allows our teachers to do data analysis. So they can pull in their students, they can look at their scores, they can begin to analyze things like placement and where should our students be and what are they lacking. It'll allow for teachers to share Common Core lesson planning and curriculum, and it'll allow for online testing. The other piece of that, NESIS, which is the North Carolina Education Evaluation System, that is our online tool for teachers to begin or to do their evaluations. Now, they did evaluations last year in a different product, but North Carolina has moved to this new one, and that's going pretty well. Now, as far as our implementation goes, we did start heavily our conversion piece around December. We began building our schools out and working with our data managers. That's kind of gone on. Our major training began in May with our data managers, and since that time we've been on a schedule to train a majority of our other users. Ms. Robin Robertson, I believe, handled the evaluation piece of it. SchoolNet, we have not yet begun, but it is on our schedule. Our teachers have a tremendous amount of new things to learn this year, and we didn't want to bombard them completely and overwhelm them right at the beginning of school, but we will be phasing pieces in with that. I would like to say that our implementation was perfect. I would like to say DPI is perfect, but I can't say either is true. But it is, I will say this beyond anything else, PowerSchool and what it can do is so amazing. And we have so much more flexibility than we ever had before. They are building in systems day after day. And really the biggest issues we've had is the product itself was not 100% complete right at the beginning, and it's still not complete. We'll be phasing in items throughout the year. DPI will be phasing in items throughout the year. So just some really amazing stuff's on the horizon, and I really can't wait to get in there and start playing with it and automating things and pulling out our data in just some great and beautiful ways. So, Sheila, anything to say?
We'd like to mention one thing. Charles mentioned the parent portal, and we're very excited about that and the communication between home and the schools. We polled our principals, and we kind of wanted to get a consensus from them of when we should open this up, because it's so new to our county and to our teachers. And so what was the decision was made after the first 9 weeks. So we're giving the teachers this first 9 weeks to get used to the grade book and Power Teacher, and then after that we plan in the first report card that goes home to send the information about the parent portal.
The process for logging in and getting your information.
We are giving them a little bit of time, but it is going to be open after the first 9 weeks.
And the theme running throughout all of this is empowering our staff members and our parents with more tools and more resources. And it's very exciting to me as a parent of a Lenore County Public School student to know that I'll be able to log on to see the grades and eventually see his progress toward graduation, how many credits he has now, how many he needs in his program and his track. And really not to have to contact the guidance counselor. Put those tools and resources in the hands of our parents is very exciting.
Charles, what kind of time are we? You know, I like hearing all these great things that we're doing. But this gonna save the teacher more time. This is gonna give the teacher more time to be in actually teaching with the class, or is it? You know, I just want to hear the bottom line on, you know, what does this do for the student, and what does this do for the classroom teacher? Does it?
Now, it's really hard to equate time for time, because really a lot of things like SchoolNet is a suite of applications we've never had before. And that, like I was saying, deals with data analysis and that piece of it. Now, currently we have, for the last several years, been using Classcape for online evaluation. So that'll be new as we transition between those two. PowerSchool or Power Teachers, what our teachers use, that piece I feel is tremendously easier for our teachers, both in setup and application, as compared to the old NCY system that they were using. As far as time saving within the classroom, I'm not really sure how much that will have, because in most of those applications, it's things you do between classes within your planning period. At the beginning of the classes, you take attendance after school, so they're not necessarily in classroom activities, except for when we implement the SchoolNet piece and have the online evaluations through there.
And so many of these, there are so many applications, and as they were referencing earlier, we're looking at phasing these in gradually and not just throwing this out, even though it's great and has great potential, not overwhelming staff members with this, but instead training, doing the initial training, and then rolling out pieces deliberately as we can use them, so that we don't overwhelm anybody. But it's going very well so far.
Yeah, I just asked that with all the cuts and everything that we're doing. The teacher has a lot to do right now, and I just wondered, is this an add-on, or is this something that we can expect to help them to just do their job better and not?
Overall, I would say this is absolutely a tool that will eventually lead to really better performance with our teachers, because it'll give them data and a way to view their classrooms in ways they haven't necessarily seen before. So will really allow them to kind of home in and target areas with their students, whereas before they had to either do it anecdotally or looking at other data or bringing multiple data sources together.
That's what I was going to say. It will allow our data, it's a data warehouse, so the data can be there and can be used for various purposes in various applications without having to be re-entered. Right now, we do a lot of redundant data entry, and we enter data, and we go get data, and we use it for this purpose, and then we go back to another source and we get it. A one-stop shop, you might say, and that's really the vision of this, like a wheel, and these are the spokes of the wheel, but the hub is home base, and all of these applications really extend from that. And you can use these and not this at this time, and then you can decide that for your needs, you want to add these two applications or this one. So we really have a lot more flexibility, and really the whole picture can be overwhelming, but what we're doing is trying to bite off what we can chew at this time, implement to the degree that it will continue to benefit us, use that, do it and do it well, and then move to the next application.
Absolutely.
What applications have they already been trained in?
So far, they've been trained in PowerSchool, which is the full suite, which is Power Admin and Power Teacher. And they've had training in the evaluation system. And those are the only two. SchoolNet has been released, but we haven't trained in that yet. But that is something that will be starting this September. I think PowerSchool, September 12th is when we begin training with SchoolNet.
PowerSchool is the closest comparison to what teachers would conceive of and know as NC-WISE, as their data management system. So we really needed that. That was the key piece to get started. We need our teachers to be up and running with that. So that training has happened, and of course the evaluation piece.
The other question I have is, I love the part as being a parent too of students of the school system, of being able to go in and look at, the comments and interact with the teachers. But my question is this, will there be a training for the parents on how to actually go in and access all of this?
I've talked in the past with Ms. Anderson about that actual thing. So Teresa Anderson. So we're having conversation on that. We're just beginning our conversations on how to best handle the parent piece of it. Our first steps in prioritizing was making sure our schools are up and running. Teachers can take attendance, they can set their grade books, and we can move forward. Now that we've done that piece, and it's not wholly completed, but we're really close. Now that that piece is in place, we begin looking at these other pieces like the parent portal. But yes, that has absolutely been in our conversation.
We certainly see that as a vital and key essential piece of what of moving forward as a next step.
And one of the advantages, of course, of PowerSchool is that you can look at usage. So we'll be able to look at the end of the year and see how many parents have logged on, how long are they spending when they're logged on, and all that information comes back to us too. So we'll have that. Now we'll be happy to report on anything else.
It's really an amazing array of potential applications that we have, and resources and tools. Very impressive. Any questions about home base or our implementation? Again, I want to thank Mr. White and Mrs. Heath for their hard work since December and really taking the lead on this, and as they say, making it happen for us. They've done a great job.
Thank you.
All right, next item on the agenda is the financial report. Ms. Biggs.
Good evening.
Good evening.
In your board doc attachments, you received the financial report for the month of August. This report reflects the year-to-date activity by providing the revenue and expenditure information as to all the sources of funds received and expended by fund and purpose as of August 31st, 2013. May I answer any questions?
On that report, I believe, if I'm looking at the right report, I believe I saw it was 300,000 that was being moved for the TAs, something to that effect?
Oh,
That's on the next
one.
report. I saw it's on. Okay.
Here you see that we have enough fund balance to do that, so,
Yeah, more than enough. Yeah.
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 Any other questions regarding this report? All right, then we'll move to the action agenda, and the first item is the budget resolution.
After several tries to submit this to Becky, we finally got it submitted, where it was only 8 attachments instead of almost 30 attachments. But it is the proposed budget for the 2013-14 budget resolution. Adjustments were made from the planning budget to include actual matching retirement and hospitalization rates. The state budget was prepared based on the actual state allotments. And for the local budget, by appropriating the $300,000 from the local fund balance on the local budget, the state teacher allotment stayed the same as last year. The federal budget is based on planning allotments. The capital outlay budget was prepared based on projects approved from the capital outlay committee. The child nutrition budget is based on estimated revenues and expenditures. The trust fund is based on actual scholarship balances, and the other local budget is based on actual and expected grant funds. May I answer any questions?
Do we need to approve these one at a time, or can we approve them in mass?
Well, we've been approving it as the budget resolution.
Okay.
So this is where I saw the
That's where you
300,000.
saw the 300,000.
And the reason I mention it, I think it's important that the community knows that we are taking it upon ourselves to make sure that these TAs have jobs and we didn't have to lay them off. You
And
know.
the teacher allotment stayed the same as last year.
We are actually one of the very few school systems that did not cut back in teaching positions and did not cut hours or actually RIF teacher assistants. We were able to, it's not that we were not cut by the state like everybody else. We were just able to absorb most of those positions, do some of it by attrition, and the $300,000 out of fund balance will take care of the rest of that. Now, we can't live on fund balance, you know that. So we will have to adjust as we move into another year. But at least this year, it's kept our workforce stable, and hopefully we have enough teachers out there, except for Ms. Bryant maybe. So we'll see.
I just thought it was important that the public knows that we're doing what we can to save these jobs.
Yeah, and I appreciate you mentioning that because, as I said, we are one of the few school systems that has not had to lay off personnel.
How much total fund balance are we? Looks like 500,000, 200.
300,000 is what we're appropriating.
Okay, what about the capital outlay? Does that include some,
We have, you have about 200,000 in capital outlay, right?
so it'd be 500 total?
Right.
Oh, so we pulling some in the capital outlay?
Capital outlay.
Okay, yeah, okay.
All right. Are there any
And
other-
as far as the capital, now that was just put there, we had that, we put it there for any emergencies.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear
The
that.
capital outlay, capital fund balance, that was appropriated because we have it for emergencies.
Oh,
That's
okay,
not,
so-
that's not any of the projects that were approved.
It's not community.
Right.
Oh, okay.
That was just in case any emergencies
Okay. Any other questions, Ms. Davis?
Make a motion that we accept this budget resolution for 2013-14.
All right, thank you, Mr. Braxton. Is there a
Second.
second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Stroud. Any other questions or comments before we vote? Not all those in favor, raise your right hand. All those opposed? All right, the resolution's approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Davis. All right, next item on the action agenda is out-of-state school trip.
We do have a group of students from Contentnia Savannah that are requesting permission to travel to Virginia to visit Jamestown, Colonial Williamsburg, Yorktown, and Busch Gardens. The trip is over a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're requesting permission to attend this out-of-state field trip.
Can board members get in on this trip?
$600 per student.
Ooh, never mind. Is there a motion we approve the out-of-state field trip?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Novus. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Hill. All those in favor, raise your right hand. All those opposed, motion carries. All right, next item is the closed session.
You have, forgive me now. I move that the North County Board of Education go into closed session under North Carolina General Statute 143-318, 11A1, A3, A5, and A6 to consult with the attorney as needed to preserve the attorney-client privilege, to consider confidential personnel matters, to instruct the superintendent or the board's agent concerning the board's negotiating position on the price and other material terms of a proposed contract for the acquisition of real property, and to prevent disclosure of information that is privileged or confidential under the North Carolina General Statute 115C-319 and student information rendered confidential under the Family Education Rights and Privacy Act 20 U.S.C. 123G.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. All those in favor of going into closed session, raise your right hand. All those opposed, we're in closed session.
Get paid by the hour still here.
All right, we're back in open session. Is there a motion to approve the personnel report with the addendum?
I make a motion to approve the personnel report with the addendum.
Thank you, Mr. Sargent. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Stroud. Any questions? All those in favor, raise your right hand. All those opposed? Is there a motion we adjourn?
So moved.
Not waiting on this.
You can catch up after.
Start over again.
Don't do that, dude.
Continue, sir.
All right, motion's been made by Mr. Stroud to adjourn. Is there a second?
All these things up.
Second by Mr. Hill. All those in favor, raise your right hand. We're adjourned.
Good.